HG's Christmas Captives, Verdicts and Sentencing. Hello. I'm His Lordship, the Magnificent Ultra H.G. Tudor. And you sit in my courtroom today, and it is a packed courtroom, for we are to hear the verdicts and the appropriate sentencing to be provided following the voting on each of our Christmas captives. I provided you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, with relevant videos containing evidence and observations about the Christmas captives that stand in the dock before you today. You, through considered argument in some instances and blatant confusion in others, made determinations by way of voting to determine whether each of our captives is a narcissist, narcissistic, an empath, or a normal. I note from the comments section that some of you argued with considerable force with regard to your positions, and you are to be commended for your forensic analysis of those individuals. A number of you clearly didn't get it, and hadn't listened to the videos when you commented in the voting section. You are thus held in contempt of court, and Sergeant Conkerbollocks will be taking you down below to administer a number of kidney punches, and then beat you about the head with a truncheon in the expectation that it might just knock some sense into your sawdust-filled head. Sergeant Conkerbollocks, you have the list. You may administer them following this verdict and sentencing. Very good, your lordship. But before that takes place, we now turn to those individuals that stand before you in the dock. First, I address Jack Frost. Mr. Frost, you have been determined by a jury of your peers to be a narcissist by 42%. Accordingly, they have determined that you are an individual with no emotional empathy, that you are manipulative, that you operate through a sense of entitlement, that you show no accountability for your actions, that you exhibit some grandiosity and haughty behaviours, and that you show various aspects of the narcissistic dynamic. In view of this finding, I sentence you to have your powers enhanced, so that you can be even colder and crueler than you already are. May your icy tentacles reach far, causing frostbite in those who are so stupid as to hang around outside when you are attending to your works. May the ice that you place upon windscreens be all the thicker, annoying and irritating motorists who haven't provided with enough time before setting out on a journey. May gardeners' plants wither and die with surprise frosts as a consequence of your extended and enhanced powers. You may now leave this place, Jack Frost, with your status as a narcissist affirmed. Next, Harry Lime. Nothing to do with Orson Welles and everything to do with Home Alone. Lime, you are an incompetent criminal and bring shame upon those criminals that are of expertise. For you, it was a close call. 40% believed you to be a narcissist, but 43% see you as narcissistic, and therefore you do exhibit limited emotional empathy. You are wholly self-centered, as is evidenced by your attempts to bully a small boy into submission and steal from houses in his neighbourhood. Such behaviour is antisocial, and in an ordered society it cannot be tolerated, particularly given your appalling dress sense also. The very fact that you allow your head to be set on fire and stand there screaming like a girl is quite frankly pathetic. Therefore, you are now sentenced to a 10-week course of being toughened up. We're going to send you to a maximum security prison where Big Barry is going to initiate you in the ways of violent prison love, which should either break you or make you into something of greater sterling. Next before me in the dock is John McLean. You should not be smoking in a courtroom, put that out, or you'll be held in contempt, Mr. Cowboy. You have been determined by 52% to be a normal, Mr. McLean. Thus, you have emotional empathy for a small group of people. Your wife, your children, some of your friends, some of your colleagues in the NYPD. You are essentially motivated by making yourself look cool in a vest and bloodied feet whilst yelling yippee-ki-yay motherfucker. However, you do have a moral compass which demonstrates a sense of purpose and appropriate morality. For you, we're going to allow you to return to the beat and continue to dispense your good offices, albeit in a maverick fashion, on the streets of New York. Before me stands Ebenezer Scrooge, a complicated character who was determined by the jury of his peers to be 51% narcissistic. Again, a creature of limited emotional empathy, but it's there. And on Christmas Day, that frozen kernel was melted to find the emotional empathy that lay below. Capable of change, albeit not systemic and substantial change, but nevertheless the ability to look beyond himself on occasions. For you, you are now going to be head of purchasing at a major toy store to enable you to understand more about what it is that the children want each Christmas so that you can apply that limited emotional empathy for the purposes of making them smile. And because I enjoy hearing you grumble. Our penultimate Christmas captive is the red-nosed reindeer Rudolph. Somewhat surprisingly, 60% have found you to be an empath, which only goes to show too much sherry amongst empaths is not necessarily a good thing. As a consequence of your empathic status being confirmed, you are allowed to continue in your role as being the leading light for Father Christmas, aka Santa Claus, aka Saint Nicholas. You will continue on each Christmas Eve to guide the other reindeer through the firmament to ensure that presents remain delivered. As a consequence of your empathic traits, you are best suited to ensure the prompt delivery of those gifts and parcels around the world. Finally, we have the angel on the tree. Notwithstanding considerable evidence that might point in another direction, the wishy-washy hearts of the empaths voting have determined that you are also an empath. Indeed, the largest vote at 65%, which only goes to show how people can be fooled by a pair of wings and some shiny foil. For you, we will no longer allow you to dominate from the top of the tree, but instead, as part of understanding the humility and humbleness, which clearly must be part of who you are by virtue of being an empath, you will alternate positions, being on top of the tree every other year and allowing the star to take a turn instead. This is the verdict of the High Court of Tudordom. You are all now free to go about what has been declared as the appropriate sentence for you. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, thank you for your service and ensure that you are available in a year's time for other Christmas captives to be adjudged by you. I'm His Lordship, H.G. Tudor, the Ultra Judge. Court is now adjourned.